Hello guys, welcome back to this video. In this video, let us see how three-tier architecture will be. In previous video, you have seen a two-tier architecture will be, how two-tier architecture will be and how many layers are there and whether it is suitable for production environment or not. You have seen all the things. Since two-tier architecture is not suitable for production environment due to both database as well as application present in the same machine. So that's why it is not suitable. So that's why we go for three-tier architecture. So this three-tier architecture is similar to two-tier only, but the only difference is the database is hosted in another machine. The database is hosted in another machine. Let us see this. Three-tier architecture. Coming to three-tier architecture, how many layers are there, sir? In this three-tier architecture, how many layers are there? In this three-tier architecture, we have three layers. What are they, sir? Client layer, as well as here you can see only application is present, not database. Only application is present. So that's why we call this layer as application layer. What do we call this layer, sir? Application layer. So client layer is one layer and application layer is one layer. And coming to this layer, this contains database. So this contains database. That's why we call this layer as database layer. So what does this third layer consist of, sir? Database. This third layer consists of database. So that's why we call this layer as database layer. So okay. Now you can tell me, is it safe? Is it safe to provide my application layer public? No, right? It is not safe to provide my application layer to be public. If I provide my application layer as public, then what it becomes, sir? Then what it leads to? My client or else any hacker will hack this and then simply change the code or else get the code and get the priority information of the company, and which even leads to loss me as well, which even leads to loss the company as well. So that's why it is not recommended, to provide the application layer in public. That means we have to provide my application layer in private. We have to provide my application layer in private. For database layer, since application is requesting my database layer, do I need to provide, is there any need for me to provide my database layer in public? No, right? I can able to provide this database layer in private. I can able to put my database layer in private. Even my database layer is in private, I can able to connect my application layer with my database layer directly, so that my application will directly provide the response. So that my application will directly, if I say in private, if I provide the connection between two application layer and database layer, then this application layer will request something to my database layer, and my database layer can able to provide the response to my application layer. Then my application layer will provide the response to my client, right? Yeah. So but now the question is, I put my application layer in private as well as my database layer in private as per your recommendation. I put those two in private. Then how do my client can able to access my application layer, sir? So my client can able to access this privately hosted application layer by using web server. So there is a server which is present in between client layer and then application layer. What is that? That is web server. So that what is so what are the layer which is present in between my client layer as well as my application layer, that is responsible for what? communication between my client as well as that is responsible for communication between my client as well as my application. So what is that? Web server. Web server, which is responsible for communication between my client as well as my application layer. So now you can tell me, do I put my web server in public or else private? I need to provide this web server in public only. I need to provide this web server in public only. Then only user can able to, then only client can able to communicate with this publicly hosted web server. Sir, what does this web server contain, sir? This web server contains simply configurations. Simply, this web server contains configurations. Whenever my client, whenever my client communicated with, whenever my client requested to my web server, then based on the configurations which are present in my web server, it will connect to my application server and it just request to my application server again. And based on the request which application server got, this application server again request a response from the database. So whenever the database provides the response to my application server, this application server again provides the response to the web server, and this web server finally provides the response to the client. In this way, actually the communication happens between my client as well as my server in three-tier architecture. So now you can tell me, I have provided my database in private and I have provided my application in private. Only web server, that is nothing but configurations. You can say web server is nothing but Apache or else Tomcat, which is used as web servers. Apache or else Tomcat, which can be used as web servers, so that based on the configurations, client can able to communicate with the privately hosted application. We just hosting web server in public, and the other things, what are the application or else you can say database, which is hosted in private. So you can tell me now, is this architecture suitable for production environment? Yes, since it can able to handle multiple clients load. Whenever multiple clients can request this web server, since application is present in different machine and database is present in different machine, it can able to provide the response. So this suitable for production environment as well. So now you can tell me which tier architecture. We have learned one tier architecture as well as two tier architecture as well as three tier architecture. Among these, which tier architecture is suitable for production environment? Three tier architecture is suitable for production environment. Now I hope you got an idea why three tier architecture is used for production environment. I hope you got an idea on all the architectures, that is one tier architecture as well as two tier architecture and then three tier architecture. Which architecture is used for which environment, you have an idea, right? I think so. You got an idea which architecture is used for production, which architecture is used for developing, and which architecture is used for testing. You have an idea, I think so. So now, is it necessary to learn for the cloud, sir? Yeah, obviously it is necessary, because whenever client asks you, my website got stopped, you just need to provide me the response where it got stopped. You just rectify this. Then you must need to have a knowledge on these all architectures. Then only you can able to even develop some code in development environment. You can develop the application code. That is nothing but your business logic. This application layer will mainly consist of what, sir? Is only business logic. This application layer will mainly consist of business logic. So that's why we can even call it as application layer, or else we can even say this as business layer. You can even say this as business layer. This application layer, we can even say this as business layer. Coming to this database layer, we call it as, since it holds the database, we call it as DB layer. That is nothing but database layer. Whenever you are having an idea of which layer is what, then only you can able to provide services to the client, or else it leads to a lot of confusion and it leads to become more complex to solve the issue. So since you are having knowledge, then you can able to visualize what happening, where the actual mistake happen, and you can solve the error. So before learning cloud, these are the most needed fundamentals that you need to know before learning the cloud. In future, you're gonna learn the cloud as well in this much of detail in future. I hope this video is understanding to you. So thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. See you back in the next video. Until then, bye bye.